I'm Pinocchio. We're here to talk about games.
In order to sum up my gaming roots, I need to go into the larger story of my childhood, but I'll do my best to be brief. My sisters and I grew up in a strict religious household where we were homeschooled via a Christian-based curriculum. Our video game consumption was pretty heavily monitored and limited. Often we had such minimal time with a game that we would have to pool our collective times so that the most skilled player could get just a little bit further. Our console was the Nintendo 64. Eventually we had a meager collection of titles such as Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, Mission Impossible, and Space Station Silicon Valley. The game I played the most was The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. This game quite literally changed my life. There's a creation story that's presented in such a way that it allowed me to foster a curiosity and a questioning that I may not have otherwise had growing up in a cult. I found the game incredibly challenging during my first full playthrough, which took me years. I'd get lost in the dungeons frequently and spent a lot of time backtracking or giving up and going someplace else. This of course made it even more difficult for me to keep track of where I was or what I was doing. The storytelling, use of music as magic, art style, and beautiful variety of settings and characters were what I loved about the game. I found most of the technical things more difficult, and I didn't really bother with all of the side quests, such as collecting masks or finding all of the Rumble Pack bomb spots. But I did my fair share of fishing and chicken shopping. As a teenager, my focus was on writing, learning to drive, and working. I was a very serious kid, and I knew that I needed to bust ass to get anything. No time for fun and games. The next time I played games wasn't until I was 21, with the exception of a single Fable playthrough when I got my first laptop. When I was 21, a partner of mine gave me a Zelda Edition Nintendo 3DS XL, and it was my first handheld device. I was so excited, and the first thing I did was play Ocarina of Time all the way through again. The next portion of my life was tumultuous, filled with difficult living situations, toxic workplaces, repetitive motion injuries, and some pretty awful depression. At the start of last year, I lost a family member, and it left me with an urgency to live more presently. As a kid, I was always trying to grow up so I could move away. As an adult, I've always had to work very hard. Along the way, there wasn't a lot of time or energy for fun's sake. Unfortunately, it turns out that fun is one of those things you do need to learn and practice. And starting late is hard. With the help of the internet, friends, my therapist, and a little bit of inheritance, I've been able to build a respectable library of games for myself to enjoy. But it turns out also, apparently the hard part is actually enjoying them. don't mean the classic, I'm 30 years old and I just don't have time excuse. I'm not talking about backlog. I'm talking about the actual experience. As a person who's been in something close to fight or flight mode for about 2 decades, it can feel wholly unsettling to have fun, to try, to actually achieve it, to do it without self-analyzing it to the point of ruining it. This is difficult, new, and uncomfortable. It's taken a ton of personal effort and reflection to realize that this is a little bit what it must be like for regular kids. Kids grow up and have new experiences that push the boundaries of their normal, their comfort, their fun. That's part of growth. Learning to elevate yourself from that feeling of discomfort to a feeling of fun, to a feeling of confidence. Because my experiences were limited, so was my bandwidth in almost every way. But that's exciting because it means I can stop asking myself if I'm doing it right or not. That's a huge part of this journey for me as someone with neurodivergence, as someone from a wackadoo background, as someone with strongly held beliefs of my own. I'm going to grow so differently from other people. I think that's why I decided to document this. We're all snowflakes and what have you. My aphantasia, misophonia, homeschooling, my cult survivor background all led me to having a completely unique choose-your-own-adventure experience of an entire facet of media. I suppose we all have that anyway. It's just one of the first times I've been able to look at my inability to have fun as an exciting thing instead of a sad thing. I get to learn how to have fun from scratch, my way. Just for me. On a much more basic level, I'm learning a lot so far from playing games. I'm finding my own curiosities, what I find humorous or intriguing. I'm learning what aesthetics I enjoy, what sprite design I'm drawn to. I'm realizing a lot about my patience limits, perseverance, how my brain actually functions. I'm slowly getting better at problem solving, though I'm still terrible at jumping. Overall, it's been a rewarding and engaging experience so far. I think it'll get even better now that I'm a little bit more open and relaxed. Having played a few games now, it's getting a little bit easier to pick up a new one and play, but my hand-eye coordination and my learning curves are still rough to watch. Or entertaining. Let me know.